start the session. Okay, with the meditation. So if it is a possibility, just sitting still, relaxed, and centering ourselves with the help of the mantra and focusing on our breath for a few breaths all the way in, all the way out. Invoking Mother's presence and grace. So as we would remember, we are going through the first chapter of Looking from Within. Last 2 weeks we had discussed, the attitude, how strong it is, and we had ended up with the example of Mother when she had, given the example of Sri Aurobindo, that when the cyclone was coming and she went into Sri Aurobindo's room, she found that the room was just totally at peace. The windows were open, but there was no chaos inside, no rain was coming inside. So that was to just elaborate that how much, you know, it depends on, who has more power. The natural events like a cyclone or a person can have more power. His ambience, his environment can radiate peace, peace that natural calamities like this or events cannot touch. So that was what we had read. And this week we'll start with the next paragraph on the same topic. And if either of you have the capacity to unmute and read, you can do it. Otherwise, I'll do it.
There is a state in which one realizes that the effect of things, circumstances, all the movements and actions of life on the consciousness depends almost exclusively upon one's attitude to these things. There is a moment when one becomes sufficiently conscious to realize that things themselves are truly neither good nor bad. They are this only in relation to us. Their effect on us depends absolutely upon the attitude we have towards them. The same thing, identically the same, if we take it as a gift of God, as a divine grace, as a result of the full harmony, helps us to become more conscious, stronger, more true, while if we take it exactly the very circumstance as a blow from fate, as a bad force wanting to affect us, this constricts us, weighs us down, and takes away from us all consciousness and strength and harmony. And the circumstance in itself is exactly the same, of this, I should like you all to have the experience, for when you have it, you become master of yourself.
So, yeah, we can just take a pause here, although we started on the new thing with the master, but we'll read that again. But it appears to be, I mean, at least while reading, it appears to be simple, that there is a state in which one realizes that the effect of things, circumstances, all the movements and actions of life on the consciousness depends almost exclusively upon one's attitude to these things. The same thing can be a tragedy for somebody or just another growth opportunity for someone else. We were reading something, I don't know in which session, and this had come up. There was something about that, you are living your life in a certain pattern, in a certain mold, in a certain way, like just one day after the other, and something happens that shakes you, that is challenging, that is tough, that can be taken as that it is here to liberate you, or it can be taken as, cruelty. So I, like the word liberate, that how it is there to liberate rather than how we take it as a cruelty. And that was a good way of looking at things. Just give me 1 second if I can look it up. Yeah, I think maybe it was this. We'll just look at it together. No, it's not that. I'll look it up and I'll share it. So basically, the same thing it said that could be a challenge is looked at is actually your liberation. And even in that context, even death, because it ends something and new thing begins. And they say that when we are living, we are so stuck in our roles, we are so stuck in the past that even though we might really want to, and most of us don't, want to rise above, want to think independent of the event, and yet we are unable to because the roles feel so heavy. They are like, this is me. It doesn't feel like a role. It is me, it appears to be. So it was said that even death is a liberation because then it gives you another a fresh chance to start again. But while I was sharing, I just remembered that, when I was in primary school, like I would not do my homework, I would not get good grades and all. And, it would be like that so much work would be pending. So by the midterm and stuff, I would be just telling myself, but, just may this year end. And from next year, when it will be a new beginning, because now though it's too late, I can't catch up. But when we start again, I'll, hit the ground running and I will do everything from the get go. And it never happened. But just there is something about starting afresh. Sorry, that was a bit of digression. But yeah, so sharing this again, what we were reading. So basically, the crux is that it doesn't matter what is happening, but what matters is what is my attitude towards it. I mean, I can believe that the gods are cruel, the universe is cruel, and for me, it's just one thing after the other. Or I can believe that, the God is definition of kindness and he loves me so much that unless I learn, unless I awaken, unless I don't know, rise above myself, I would keep getting wake up calls that wake up, wake up, wake up, you're not here for this. So that's attitude. Yeah, I'll pause here. I just been speaking non-stop. Anything, any question, any comment, concern? Okay, so anytime please unmute. Moving on. There is a moment when one becomes sufficiently conscious to realize that things in themselves are truly neither good nor bad. They are this only in relation to us. Their effect on us depends absolutely upon the attitude we have towards them. So again, the same thing that slowly we start becoming conscious to realize this that things are neither good or nor bad. But this goes a bit against our intellect because it has such well-defined boundaries and limits and definitions. But yet here we are being told that that is not true. Everything is defined in relation to us. It's me, my world, and I decide what is good, what is bad. And yet, a lot of times when I look back, I see that something which I thought was my challenge, my difficulty, that was the time when I really outshined and transformed and something in me shifted. So when we repeatedly see that happen around ourselves and, to us, something shifts. I remember, once reading a quote. It was like that whenever I look at, it was about women, but it doesn't have to be that whenever I see a powerful woman, a woman who is standing strong and just ruling her life, I want to ask her that, which battle did you face? What all did you had to overcome to be where you are today? So it's like that you are seeing somebody with a lot of, I don't know, qualities that looks like the qualities of somebody who's got it. And instead of saying that, wow, they have good quality, you can see that there must have been a journey that would have shaped them that way. And this is again repeatedly reminding me of the first topic of Harmony Circle, which had come to me when I got the inspiration to start the circles. I've shared it often, but I don't forget it. That it was I am more than my circumstances. That was the topic that when I had, asked mother to tell me how to start and if to start. So I am more than my circumstances, and circumstances would be everything, right? Outside circumstances, inner circumstances. So that's what she wanted to say right in the beginning. I am more than my circumstances. Moving on. The same thing, identically the same. If we take it as a gift of God, as divine grace, as the result of full harmony, helps us to become more conscious, stronger, more true. While if we take it exactly the very same circumstance, exactly the same, I think here the keyword is exactly the same, as a blow from fate, as a bad force wanting to affect us. This constricts us, weighs us down, and takes away from us all consciousness and strength and harmony. So either I can live my life believing that the universe is for me, I am taken care of, truly believing that and living that, or I can take the opposite stance that, I am taking care of myself and the world, the universe is always seems to conspire against me. And the truth is that we believe that, right? Like we totally believe that, and then the same things more and more. Whatever happens, our resolution gets stronger. That see, in both the cases, even if the same circumstances are happening, our resolution gets stronger. That see, I knew it, I knew it, not realizing that the issue is not outside, it's within me. Yeah. And the circumstance in itself is exactly the same of this. I should like you all to have the experience. For when you have it, you become master of yourself. So when you reflect that, oh, and lot of times something happens and we see that if it's happening to two people or to a family, we see different people respond differently, and then the result for them is also different. I don't know if we would not have gone through it personally, but now with this new light, maybe we can understand that better. Yeah, so anything? We have finished this paragraph that we had read. Yeah, so we can take it further. It's quite simple. So if anybody wants to read, they can. Otherwise, I will read.
I can read it now.
Okay.
Okay. So, not only master of yourself, but in what concerns you, master of the circumstances of your life, and this depends exclusively upon the attitude you take. It is not an experience that occurs in the head, though it begins there, but an experience which can occur in the body itself. Ma'am, do you mind if I read it from the beginning one more time?
Please go ahead.
Uh, Not only master of yourself, but in what concerns you, master of the circumstances of your life. And this depends exclusively upon the attitude you take. It is not an experience that occurs in the head, though it begins there, but an experience which can occur in the body itself. So much so that, well, it is a realization which naturally asks for a lot of work, concentration, self mastery, consciousness pushed into matter, but as a result, in accordance with the way the body receives shocks from outside, the effect may be different. And if you attain perfection in that field, you become master of accidents. I hope this will happen. It is possible. It is not only possible, it is certain. Only it is just one step forward. That is, this power you have already full and formidably realized in the mind to act upon circumstances to the extent of changing them totally in their action upon you. That power can descend into matter, into the physical substance itself, the cells of the body, and give the same power to the body in relation to the things around it. Ma'am, should I continue?
Yeah, you can just finish this because I think it ends here.
Okay. This is not a fate, it is a certitude that comes from experience.
Yes, thank you. We'll just take this up now. If there's anything before we begin, we can take it.
Ma'am, it's just that the punctuations, no, when I was going through this paragraph, I was missing the punctuation. So probably, where the sentence ends, the way I was the way I was uttering it, it was like I'm in the middle of the sentence, although the sentence was ended. So like if you can like
Yeah,
read
yeah,
it again.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
The mother says that, how she was saying that the circumstances in itself is exactly the same. I should like you all to have the experience. So when you have it, you become master of yourself. So she's talking about becoming master of ourselves. Not only master of yourself, but in what concerns you, master of the circumstances of your life. See, one thing is that things are happening to me, and because of my attitude, the attitude that I have taken, the attitude that I have become. It depends on me how the result happens. So one thing was this that she had said before, right? That it depends on you how a challenge, how a circumstance turns out. It's your attitude. But here she's going one step further and she's saying that not only will you become the master of yourself, but you will also, or you can also become the master of the circumstances of your life. That what you will want would happen to you, around you. And she says, and this depends exclusively upon the attitude you take. It is not an experience that occurs in the head, though it begins there, but an experience which can occur in the body itself. So it's not just, a mental thing, because attitude just feels a mental thing, right? कि ठीक है मुझे तो I come what may, I will not feel down, I will not feel depressed, I will always keep walking. One can say that it's a mental thing. But here she further clarifies that it is not an experience that occurs in the head, though it begins there, it begins with the mind, but an experience which can occur in the body itself. And I think this is important because when something is happening in the body, somehow it becomes more real to us, right? There's more concrete, there's more solidity there according to us because we believe again and again and again, we believe that we are the body. And if I can hold something, touch something, like say, this is more real to me than a thought because I can see it, I can feel it. So it depends exclusively upon the attitude you take. It is not an experience that occurs in the head, though it begins there, but an experience which can occur in the body itself. So much so that, well, it is a realization which naturally asks for a lot of work, concentration, self mastery, consciousness pushed into matter. But as a result, in accordance with the way the body receives shocks from outside, the effect may be different. So it's saying that this is a possibility that we can control not only what happens, not only my reaction to things, but how and what is happening to me, but knowing that this requires a lot of work. This doesn't come easy. Work, concentration, self-mastery, consciousness pushed into matter. You know how when we in the chanting session, lot of times we have taken the chant Om Namo Bhagavate, right? So Om Namo Bhagavate is according to Mother a chant through which physical transformation can actually happen. So the chant, it stands for that may the divine manifest in me. That divine, I become the divine. And according to her experience, her personal experience, she says it without a doubt that this is a mantra that can change the consciousness of yourself. But that requires effort again, right? So, just reading it again, it is a realization which naturally asks for a lot of work, concentration, self-mastery, consciousness pushed into matter. But as a result of all this work, in accordance with the way the body receives shock from outside, the effect may be different. But whatever shock we are receiving, the effect in us would be different depending on how much work we have done on ourselves. This reminds me, I think Jagan was there when we were discussing it, that, when people leave their body, we usually just say, we name our Shamshan Ghat Moksha Dham. And we just say, कि हाँ वो पूरा हो गया. Yeah, he's rest in peace. Now he has become peace. He has become one with the divine. But this is just how we were discussing, just something to give ourselves a false sense of peace, right? That yes, the other is at peace. But we don't see the life the other was living, right? If the life was full of chaos and discord and disharmony, how can death bring that person into peace? We don't think about that because it just is easier to ourselves to say that. So again, just almost the same context is here, that but in accordance with the way we have been working, how much we are preparing the mind and the body, how much mindfully and with sincerity and honesty we are working with ourselves. So in accordance with that, the body is able to receive, the shocks that come to me, the effect may be different depending on how much grace and work has been done on me and through me. In case it's not clear, we can discuss more. So let me know. Otherwise, we'll move further.
So,
Yes,
ma'am,
Saru, uh,
sorry, yes,
yeah,
yes, ma'am, you can talk.
yeah, one thing is a little unclear here. Depending on our attitude, we can change the way we react. So here, does it say that depending on our attitude, if we can convert it into physical matter, do the circumstances also change, or is just my reaction to the circumstances which changes?
Yeah, Ritu. So that's what it clearly says here, that not only you become a master of yourself, but in what concerns you, master of the circumstances of your life. So I'm also able to change the circumstances of my life. I'm able to, how I think what I am reminded of is, how they say before the soul is born, it decides what it wants to experience in this lifetime, right? But then when we come here, it just gets messy and chaotic and we get lost and da 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 da. We might be able to have that experience that we had wanted the learning or not. But now that we are conscious and we are one with nature, we are one with we are mastering those things, then I am again able to master the circumstance so that I can see what I want to see. That's what I understood. I mean, of course, there would be other variations, But what, according to what you asked, it's been stated very clearly that master of the circumstances of your life.
So it's we can change the circumstances also, and we can change our reaction to the circumstances.
Yeah.
The
So the
first step
first
would be to
thing it
change the
said,
reaction,
yeah,
and then if it we can if we become stronger, then we can change the circumstances itself.
yeah,
But
yeah. So
sometimes it is said कि जो होना है वो तो होना है. It's just how we react to it. But this one says that it's not only the reaction, but जो होना है, even that we can change.
yeah, obviously the example that was given, right? Sri Aurobindo's example, if we look at this, so one thing is that imagine Sri Aurobindo is sitting, right, in his room. There's a cyclone, there's rain all around, there are winds, and cyclones are pretty bad, right? So the cyclone is around him, but he is not getting affected by cyclone. That, maybe there's something around him, that nothing is bothering him, nothing is hitting him, nothing is breaking his concentration. Lot of times, we see movies or serials of sadhus, how they are in sadhana, how they are in meditation, and there is a, uh, I don't know. I think in Badrinath we had seen, that picture that there's a sadhu sitting and there's snow all over him, covering him with snow, and still he's sitting there. People, there are stories that they say that ants have made an ant hill on top of a sadhu who's meditating. So that is the attitude, that the outside is not affecting me, but the outside is happening. But again, in this example, when they say that the rain did not come in, the wind did not come into his room. So that is part of changing the circumstance of what one is feeling, right? Would you agree? Like, I'm just thinking aloud here.
No, I agree. I think what it says here, Aurobindo. But
Yeah.
like in one the earlier sessions, it was like even the circles are drawn where we have to be at this point. We can't even change that. So if that is the situation that we can't change anything, what we can change is our reaction. But changing the circumstance itself, I think, will be a really, really, really later stage.
Yeah. So, see, the thing is that imagine that you are a small baby, right? And you're looking at the world, right? You don't even know how to hold your head yet. And yet you see children around you running, right? So you could think, and you would think, if you could think, maybe they think that, oh my God, when I can't even hold my head, how can I run? When will that day come? I remember you had shared this with me a long time back, that, when you were in school, in junior classes, you would look at the senior DBs and you would wonder that, oh my God, will it ever happen that I too will be in, grade 11, grade 12, about to leave school? Do you remember sharing this with me?
Yeah,
Yeah, so right now where I am, something might look really far off. But now when I think about 12th, याद भी नहीं है कैसे हो गया, right? It all seems easy, right?
yeah,
So I think rather than thinking on कि बहुत दूर है, बहुत दूर है, बहुत दूर है, या फिर मेरी ये possibility नहीं है, let me do what I can do today, knowing कि ये भी मेरी possibility है. जब होगी तब होगी, बट अभी मेरे हाथ में जो है वो तो मैं देखूं, राइट? कि जैसे वी हैव गिव दिस एग्जांपल कि अगर डार्क में या रेन में या आंधी तूफान में, when I'm driving and there is no street light, I don't stop, right? I have my headlights and I see how much the headlights are showing me and I drive according to that, right? Knowing that as I go forward, I'll be shown more, I'll be showing more, I'll be shown more, and I can keep driving forward. So I think the same certitude, the same faith, the same react. the same attitude is needed here, that let me do what I can do right now, but it's great to know that this is my possibility too. And that example that was shared about drawing the line that we had shared last time, and that last time too you had commented on that. So there is this thing that I don't know if I shared it last time, it feels familiar to say कि, once Acharya ji had shared this thing कि none of the stories that I tell you, like none, he said, none of the stories I tell you are true or hold any significance, but I tell them so that you get so engrossed and you listen to what I have to say to you that really matters. So at some stage, I might need to know that, when I'm kind of feeling कि मैं यहाँ पे कैसे पहुंच गई, how am I here, what is life, what are we doing? Then the story that, God drew a circle around that place where you are today. That helps me, right? It helps me in propelling forward कि अच्छा यहाँ तक तो अभी आगे देखती हूँ. That when now I can see more, I can see that I can choose my attitude, I can choose my circumstances, then that limiting thing which helped me stand, it's like a ladder. कि एक के ऊपर एक के ऊपर एक के ऊपर कहीं लेके जा रही है, बट नीचे वाला छोड़ना पड़ेगा अगर ऊपर जाना है तो. तो वो एक यहाँ पे शिफ्ट है कि आई कैन नॉट लेट दीज रीजनिंग और दीज सेंटेंसेस स्टॉप मी. इफ दे आर स्टॉपिंग मी, then they are not serving the purpose, they are actually going opposite to the purpose, and the purpose is individual for all of us, right? That is why they say, an aimless life is a miserable life, and on the quality of your aim, right, depends on your life. So if the aim is growth, transformation, rising above the petty, then whatever is helping me, I'll just take it and I'll say, "अच्छा, आगे तो चल, right? I will not let that confusion stop me."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, please say more. I'm sure there would be, I mean, I don't know if that helps, but that's how I take.
Um, no, that's true. It's just sometimes, when I listen to things that nothing can be changed, everything has to happen as per a plan, then it feels that, okay, if everything has to happen as per a plan, then, I mean, it feels a little disappointing that, okay, what am I doing? That I was into picture that I need to do something. I have to move forward. I have to do this. But then when everything is happening as per a pre-planned way, then what am I doing?
Yeah. I think that वो जो बच्चे वाला example we took ना, we can again take it here. See, till a child learns how to crawl or walk, the child will be carried wherever the mother wants to carry it, right? Or the father wants to carry it, or the caretaker wants to carry him, right? Till then,
Mhm.
it would be true for us to tell the child कि जहां माँ लेके जाएगी वहीं जा सकता है, तो तू कहीं और अकेले जा नहीं सकता, right? Everything is decided. What you'll eat, where you'll go, who you'll meet, you're totally dependent on mother. And yet, when the child learns to stand on his feet and walk around and run around, then that thing is no longer true, right? Because now the child knows how to go wherever he wants to himself. So even, with all the questions, like I have seen it with Sri Aurobindo and the mother, they have used the disclaimer. I have seen it with Acharya ji. They all say that when we answer, our answer in themselves is not just, it's not universally applied. We are answering to people seeing where they are. I remember there was this story about, Buddha, that somebody came to him and said, okay, this is right. And he said, yes, this is right. Tomorrow somebody came, he said, this is wrong. He said, yes, this is wrong. Third day somebody came, this is neither right, this is neither wrong. He said, yes, it's neither right, neither wrong. So his main disciple, his friend Anand, he got baffled and he said कि ये क्या मजाक है, right? Like three people saying three different things and you're agreeing to all of them. And he said, yes, for each of those, that was their truth. So they're all true. So what I need, if right now for my aim, if I need कि जो होना था वो होना ही था, अब आगे देखो. So that is, if that is helping me, great. But if this helps me to propel forward, कि अरे मुझे तो मेरी जिंदगी खुद आगे अब डिफाइन करनी है ना? It keeps changing. It's not static. I have to now get okay with the fact that it's not static. And again, what we had, I think, discussed last time, I don't know, in this session, maybe some other, that mind is a limited tool. Mental is a domain with limits. Although, excuse me, I think that mind is my highest capability. And that is why, in integral yoga, we talk about supramental, above the mental plane is now, that was what was called. So mental has its limit.
Right.
So we struggle with this idea because mental is all we know. Intellect is what we
Mhm.
regard as the highest. But we have to accept that if we, I mean, we don't have to, it will be shown to us. We'll see when we are mindful that my mind is very limited. It cannot accept things, contradictory things at the same time. It's either this or that or this or this, but they are all relative truths. I don't see the big picture. It's ungraspable to me. तो जैसे ये एक एग्जाम्पल बोलते हैं ना कि when the river is flowing and it's obviously its journey from the moment it begins it till they say it is to meet the ocean. अगर पहाड़ आता है तो जितना जैसे चढ़ सकती है चढ़ जाती है, कोई ढलान आती है वहां से उतर जाती है, कोई चट्टान आती है उसके साइड से निकल जाती है. द रिवर डजंट से कि नहीं मैं तो तेरे ऊपर से ही जाऊंगी, ये मेरे उसकी साइड से जाना मेरी पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं है, आई हैव टू कॉन्कर यू. It doesn't say that to each and every cliff that comes on its way, right? Because its aim is decided. I have to meet with the ocean. Come what may, no matter what way I have to take. I might have to merge with so many rivers on the way, I will merge. I might have to, go into so many distributaries, I will distribute. I will not question my way. I will not see कि oh, this is not making sense और अरे ये तो मेरी औकात ये है, मेरा वो है, मैं ऐसे कैसे कर दूं. It just keeps going, right? So again, if we too, whatever tool we are getting, whatever we are resonating, if we can just use it for our growth and not let the mental check, not saying don't ask questions, don't think, but just knowing कि इसकी अपनी limitations हैं. Let me keep going, let me keep going. Whatever is helping me, I take the help and
Yeah.
I keep moving forward. Yeah. Uh,
Jagan, you were
yeah,
saying?
Jagan, you can please.
Yes, yes, yeah. Actually, I had the same question that Ritu ma'am asked. So thank you, Ritu ma'am, for asking it. Yeah. One thing I realize is that there must be, like what makes me really curious and also very interested in this is there must be an untapped potential in a person that will help, that will help him, or if it's about me, will help me to kind of have that level of concentration where nothing else can really change my path. Like, if I were to compare Aurobindo situation back then when he was concentrating and there was a cyclone outside, if I'm comparing the cyclone to all the assumptions and the things that people talk about, and if I'm talking about Aurobindo concentration to something that I'm doing at hand, So I'm only interested to know how much determination that should a person have, that even something like a storm will not, will not impede into his activities and he is still focused. So I mean there must be a certain, I don't know how to word it, but there must be a one quality that needs to be touched, where even the storm will ignore it, like even the storm will, you know um change its path. So I'll listen to for the this discussion further, and maybe I'll get a better understanding. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, one thought, one comment, one, I don't know, news has the capacity to move us, right, thoroughly in our lives. So, of course, when we are talking about it, how would it be that a storm would not move me? So, I think again, how we say baby steps. That first, when a thought stops moving me, a emotion stops moving me, a trigger stops moving me, a situation that I have lived for years and years, which has always moved me, when those stop moving me, then we'll talk about when the storms, would stop moving me, because everything takes time and there is a system towards those things. So, yeah, that's a very good question. And yet, seeing the truth of where I'm operating today, and this can also be an inspiration, right? That because I want the storm not to move me, let me not get moved by this. Let me see, okay, this is something that I know I always get triggered by. Let me try harder next time, because I know I have to go far. If I keep staying at this level that I am, level 8, level 10, level 57, whatever it is, just using that as an example, how will I proceed to the next level? And I must, I want to, and I must. And what you were talking about, that hidden potential, that hidden talent, it's like again and again I'm reminded of, Hanuman ji, when, that they
Yes.
share that how, yes, please, Seven, why don't you
No,
talk?
no, I'm so sorry. I didn't notice that you unmuted.
Okay. Yeah, so just, that example that when Hanumanji said that I cannot cross the ocean, right? Okay, I can fly, but my flights, my jumps are limited, and this is too long. And then how, I forget the name, Jam, I mean, जो थे उनके वहाँ,
Jambavant.
yeah, Jamvad. He had reminded him, how that there is so much power in him. There is so much that he would do and he has forgotten. So I think the same thing happens for all of us at different, depending on where we are. We keep seeing that, oh, I can do this too. So it's all there, all there, all there. But you know how it's veiled, it's hidden by ignorance, by conditionings, by the way we live life. So yeah, so the potential is definitely, definitely, definitely there. No doubt about that. So, where were we? Yeah. Okay. So much. I think this is what we have taken. So yeah. So much so that it is a realization which naturally asks for a lot of work. Okay, we have done it, but I'll just read it. Concentration, self-mastery, consciousness pushed into matter, but as a result, in accordance with the way the body receives shocks from outside, the effects may be different. So this we had done. And if you attain perfection in that field, you become master of accidents. I mean, I was master of accidents. So, and if you attain perfection in that field, you become master of accidents. I hope this will happen. It is possible. It is not only possible, it is certain. Once in Friday study circle, we had read extensively on how there is nothing called an accident and how everything is, again, all the so-called accidents, they have a reason for happening and they are also kind of there for something, that we have to experience. So here mother is saying that I hope you can reach that state, and she's saying it's not only your possibility, it is your certainty. So just to, elaborate on this possibility versus certainty, if you've ever attended or you've read, Mother's Prayers and Meditation, her book, you know, almost all her prayers, they have this line that thy victory is certain. Like she's sharing, experiences about this and that and happenings and how something is pushing her, pulling her, or she again lost something that she had conquered. And but it ends or it starts or it, always this thing that, but come what may, because no matter how long it takes, but thy victory is certain. So again, one thing is that this is my possibility. Possibility means that I may or may not reach this. But when she says it's a certainty, so that means I will reach there, but it just depends on, when I reach, depending on, of course, one thing is that evolutionary, there is evolution happening. There are things that are, taking place just by me being here right now. And of course, the way the world is moving. And yet, if I am more, hand in hand with what is happening, if I take on things more aggressively and with more faith and certitude, it would happen faster. But we have to reach there. In the poster also, when we had seen this twice or thrice that how mother had drawn that path of yoga. That there's a straight line and you can either go here, 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 here. Then also you reach here, or you go here, right? Then also you reach here. So the ending is the same, and it's a certainty, not just a possibility. So only it is just one step forward. So she's saying it's just one step forward. That is, this power you have already fully and formidably realized in the mind to act upon circumstances to the extent of changing them totally in their action upon you. That power can descend into matter, into the physical substance itself, the cells of the body, and give the same power to the body in relations to the things around it. So we read that again. That is, this power you have already fully and formidably realized in the mind. Formidably, that cannot be one, right? That is there, that has one. To act upon circumstances to the extent of changing them totally in their action upon you, that power can descend into matter. So when you have it in your mind, when you're certain, when your attitude has changed, from there it is just one step forward, that now it will enter into your body. It will descend. That power can descend into matter, into the physical substance itself, the cells of the body, and give the same power to the body in relation to the things around it. So how the mind can affect, then the body will also be able to affect things around it. And she says this is not a faith. One thing is, okay, just faith, everything happens. Like we say, maybe Amira ne, she had that glass of poison. And because she was so devoted, her faith was so strong that nothing happened to her. But she's saying the change in the body cells, it's not a faith, it's a certitude. Certitude means 100% certainty that comes from experience. You will see that happen. It's a happening. It's not just, okay, just think about it, and it's not wishy-washy. It's not something you can't see, because, a lot of times people complain about faith that how do we know? Or we don't see it, or I don't have it. But it is a certitude that comes from experience, that you will experience it and it will become your truth. Yeah, so I think this ends here, this passage that we had taken, it ends here. So we will stop here today. We'll take up any questions or reflections. And then next week, we'll take up the next new thing that is starting. Yeah, anything from this that needs further light?
Ma'am, sort of slightly off topic, but when you were telling me about the example of Hanumanji, so it's just that growing up, we thought that, at least I thought that, Hanumanji had superpowers. He's had superpowers, which is why he was able to remember them and he was able to unlock them. But the thing is, for Hanumanji, it was just it was just something hidden within him. He never felt like it's a superpower. So the curiosity is that here that I feel is that there is no limit to how much the energy can be taken out of a human being, because living in the world, living and like living, I feel like I'm living in a cocoon of regular things happening around, that I've stopped believing that there is that potential that can be unlocked. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. But I remember, watching in Ramayan that he was really shocked himself. You're saying that he wasn't shocked and it was just a reminder, but he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that it's a possibility for him till everybody said, yes, 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 remember, 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 or yes, it's true for you. So here again, it's like, the masters, the mystics, they are saying that yes, it is your certainty. And this is not just, a mystic sitting on the roadside who you don't know to believe or not. We have the faith, we have the certitude, and yet there's something in me which would laugh at that rather than believe it. But then that is upon me, right? Whether I can believe it, say that, okay, I might not believe it today, or it might not be my possibility today, but it's said that tomorrow it is my certainty. So, and with this power, sometimes things just change for us. Like, when sometimes, of course, sometimes it needs practice, but sometimes when we come across certain things and we see that, okay, this is my possibility or my certainty. And if a challenge which I've been battling with my whole life, maybe, or a long time, when it hits me after I'm exposed to these words or these truths, suddenly there's a new power in me which says that, no, not anymore. I have a long way to go. again, like I was saying, let me transcend this. So believing it, even though the logic might not agree, also has a power in itself. So just that's just my personal reflection. One doesn't have to believe it, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And yes, you're right. He was also shocked to know about his powers. Yes, I remember that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so we will end the session here. Thank you so much for joining in and just taking a few moments to thank Grace for the opportunity of the session, realizing how blessed one is that one has the capacity to, reflect on these words, to get, I don't know, get exposure to these words and to understand them as much as we can. So sharing the merit, if any, like we share the prasad, we say to as many mouths it touches, it's good. So whatever we gain, whatever light comes in our life, sharing that light with all the beings in the world, no matter how small we feel this may sound to, but whatever it is, I'm very happy to share whatever I learn, whatever I see with everyone. So thank you so much, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.